And it's time to start class. Have your blanket. Tonight's class. Rejuvenation. I believe this is day 8 of our 12-day journey. Might be day 7. This is Rejuvenate to me, especially in an evening class. We're going to find lots and lots of space throughout the hips, throughout the spine, the side of the body, and into the shoulders. So that's what the blanket will be for. Let's start off in just a simple cross-legged position. You can come to easy pose, bound angle pose. You can bring heels closer together in this prefect pose. And start to roll into your neck and take slow, deep breaths. Bringing a little bit of mindful movement and mindful breath right away into our class. Take a few open mouth exhales. Maybe close your eyes. And as usual, just have a soft smile on your face and on your mind. And then nod your head yes, just stretching into the front of the throat and the back of the neck. Slow and easy breath. And then bringing your head to center. Turn the head left and right, trying to keep the neck completely center. Slow and easy inhales and exhales, just letting yourself feel the movement and get into the moment. Eyes soft or closed. And the neck finds stillness and start to shrug up and roll into the shoulders. Just go one way. And joining me for tonight's class, my co-teacher here, Myrtle. She does love a Sunday evening class where we take it nice and slow. And up and around the other way. And as with every other household in the universe who has a black cat, my other cat here, Luna. Yeah, we did it. We have a Luna and a Myrtle. Always nice to have a little bit of company on the mat. Now bring your hands to your hearts, stillness to the shoulders, stillness to the neck. And twisting mindfully into your thoracic spine, so your rib cage, your shoulders. We're just going to twist here, left and right. Try to keep the palms of your hands together, slow and easy. Spread out through the fingers, spread out through the shoulder blades. And then stretch those arms straight out in front of you, palms pressing toward me. And then open the arms out, inhale. And exhale, let your thumbs come to touch in front of you. Arms are straight and long. Inhale, open out, and just take a few breaths like this. Really stretch through the palms, stretch through the elbows. Exhale, palms forward, thumbs come to touch. Inhale, open up. And exhale, thumbs come to touch. 2 more. Feel that brightness here through your arms, through your chest, lifting tall. And exhale, thumbs come to touch. Take 1 more. Relax your arms so that the elbows are bent, palms face up, elbows hugging into the wrists or into the ribs, and then roll into your wrists. Go one way and then the other. And then elbows hugging in. We're just going to tap ourselves on the shoulder, getting into the elbow joint movement a little bit. Slow the breathing down, really breathe into the belly. And then palms press to your knees. Inhale, lift tall. And exhale, slowly fold forward from the hips. And take a few breaths here into the back of the body, walking just forward to the palms or to the forearms, or maybe reaching all the way out and bringing forehead to the earth. And slowly come on up. Stretch your legs out long. And take a few breaths. And bringing the opposite leg in front, come into easy pose. Hands to your knees and start to roll into some circles. Just go one way. Spinal circles, trying to roll back into the hips, the kidneys, the shoulders, and roll forward with the belly, the heart, the throat. And start to go the other way. Just being really luxurious in your movement here, being rejuvenative. Rejuvenative for tonight's purposes, meaning just stretching, finding space, breathing deeply. A lot of times we are craving our mat because it's the only time in the day that we can stop, we can pause. Really can just listen to the breath and notice how our muscles feel. Come on, back to center, lift nice and tall. And now from the hips, twist the heart open to the right. Left hand stays on the left knee, right arm can reach behind you. Lift tall through the heart, through the shoulder, through the throat. Breathe into your belly, find that space. And float yourself through center and twist to the left. Right hand to the knee, open up and breathe. And slowly roll back to center. Let your eyes drop closed for a moment. Focus in on the breath through the nose. Inhale into the belly. Feel the expansion, pull it up into the lungs, the sides of the ribs, the back of the ribs, pull it up into the throat, the back of the neck. Exhale slowly, pulling the belly button toward the spine. Inhale, belly, lungs, throat. Exhale, throat, lungs, belly. Inhale, belly, lungs, throat. Exhale, throat, lungs, belly. And then slowly come on up and over, tabletop position. And stretch back right away into that left leg. Find a little space and movement. And switch sides, toes on the earth. Stretching into the Achilles tendon, into the calf muscle. And then knees come back down. Bring your knees hip distance. Arms are shoulder distance. And let's move here through cat-cow. As you inhale, drop your belly down. Hips and heart lift. This is cow pose. Throat opens. Exhale, curl and round. Just trying to bring space into all of your spine. Inhale, still bringing space into the spine. Notice how you flex forward, finding that space at the front of the vertebrae, and exhale, roll up and back. Find space at the back of the vertebrae. So good for disc health. Keep going. This rejuvenation happening as a result of your quiet mind, your slow breath, and your attention to detail. Five more, nice and easy. Next inhale, come back to neutral spine. Toes come together, glide the hips back, child's pose. If bent knees are not for you, stretch out all the way onto your belly. We're going to take a few moments here in this forward fold. Scientifically, the longer you can hold a pose, the more your brain can recognize and benefit from what the pose offers you. And a child's pose, it creates this little world all your own. You can listen to the sound of your breath. The eyes are closed. The rest of the world doesn't exist in child's pose. Breathe deeply into all of your lung capacity here. Anytime you need to shift, you will, but we're going to hold here for a few moments just to really reap the benefits. Breathe deeply, breathe fully, and breathe slowly. And slowly start to come on up. Sway the hips side to side. And then gently lift up and back into downward dog and just move here gently. Knees come down. Come on up into a kneeling position and hands are going to come to your hips and shift the weight into the left knee. Right foot steps forward and we'll come into a lunge. Knee and ankle stay over each other or in line with each other. So you want to scooch that ankle forward a little bit and then you're lunging down and in, fingertips to the earth or to your blocks if you have them. And take a few breaths, really breathing into the front of that left hip. One more breath. And slowly press up and back, shifting the hip over the left knee, peeling the right toes off of the earth. If you have those blocks, you're using them. Otherwise, you're reaching for your fingers. And then slowly shift so you're in a 90-degree bend with both knees. And now we'll open out into a kneeling warrior pose. And you're going to go shift forward and back into that knee. Nice and easy. And this is another place where the knee always stays behind or in line with the ankle. So even as I shift forward, I'm not shifting forward too much that that knee is going past the ankle and causing stress onto the knee. Take a few more, hands on your legs to help guide. And come back to center, hips will square again. And then right knee comes back to join the left. Hands to your hips. Shift the weight to the right knee, left foot comes out. And you want that little bit of that reach forward with the ankle. So that is, as you come down into that hip flexor stretch, you're right over. Blocks or fingertips to the earth. Chest is lifted. You want to have a feeling that you're nice and long in the spine. And drop into those hips. Feel the hip flexors open. And slowly start to shift up and back. Toes are up. That left leg stays long. Blocks can come in and find that hamstring stretch in monkey pose. And slowly lift up. Left foot to the earth. Blocks can move out of your way. Right knee opens or right hip opens and that right heel slides to the side and left hand to your left knee, right hand to your right hip. And just glide here forward and back in our kneeling version of Warrior Two. Stay lifted in the spine and aware of your breath. The exhale sinks you in, relaxing the muscle. The inhale, you release. One more. Come back to center and bring that left knee back. We're going to take another version of child's pose. This time we're going to find some space in our knees. This is something that's really beneficial for people who have trouble in child's pose, but even if you're really comfortable in child's pose, this creates space. So I'm only going to bring a half a roll to my blanket. I don't want this whole huge bulk. And then the roll is going to come into the crook of your knee. And you're going to tuck it in as much as you can. And the knees can be as wide as the blanket or closer, however it feels nice to you. And then we're just going to sink back into child's pose with that little bit of a roll in between the knees. And this creates some space, and you really want it to be snugged in so that you can feel that space as you go back. And we're going to hang out here for another few moments. So really find that quiet place. If you need to shift, you will. And if your legs need to be straight, you're just going to lay down on your belly and enjoy that form of child's pose, which is still that nice quieting forward fold. Eyes closed and drop back into that little universe that exists here in this very quiet place. And slowly start to come on up. Blanket moves out of your way, or you'll bring it back under the knees. And finding your tall kneeling position, hands to your hips, shift the weight to the left knee, right foot goes forward, and slowly bring hands to the earth. And both hands are going to come to the inside of the right leg. We're going to come into a lizard stretch. Lizard stretch, you want to keep that knee pressing into the shoulder, and arms can stay long. You can use blocks if you'd like. Sometimes you can start to bring that inside arm down to the earth. And sometimes you can start to bring that second arm down as well. If you have blocks, this can help bring the ground up to you so you don't have to come down so low and still find that quieter position. Palms can press together or into the earth. Lengthen purposefully into the back of your neck and sink here into this stretch. If it gets too intense, as lizard tends to, just come up a little and take a breath. Try not to hold the breath here. Really work with the exhales to release tension. Hips are tight on 99.8% of people and really benefit from quieter poses like this. Take a few more breaths. Palms press into the earth or the blocks. Slowly start to come up. And the right knee comes back to meet the left. Shifting weight, right knee becomes your base. Left leg goes forward. Shift forward and then hands to the earth or the blocks. Left knee hugging into the shoulder, and then slowly start to lower. Inside arm to the earth, maybe the outside arm to the earth, or you can use your blocks for support. Relax your jaw and breathe slowly here. Just notice if you can tell differences from side to side. Did one side feel more cooperative than the other? Relax into your jaw. Have that soft smile on your face. This sense of self-care and rejuvenation on your mind. And slowly start to come on up. Left knee comes back to join the right. Then we're going to take another version of child's pose here. Knees come nice and wide. This is sleeping child's pose, in my opinion. Now, this does require a little bit of flexibility in child's pose. If your child's pose is kind of up here, then you're probably going to stay right here. But if you're a little bit more comfortable in your child's pose, knees are going to come wide apart. I'm actually going to bring my blanket out of the way. And then you're going to start to come down to child's pose, and arms are going to stretch back and find your feet through the legs. And you're going to bring one cheek to the earth, maybe your chest, your shoulders. And then soften here. Probably your face is turned to one side, so you lose a little bit of that universe that we create in child's pose, but let your eyes be closed and just breathe. Let your shoulders round in, let your spine relax, let your chest sink toward the earth. Little extra grounding, you can even slide the hands under the feet if that feels okay to you. And breathe. Very slowly and mindfully, you're going to come up just enough that you can bring the other cheek to the earth, coming back into this child's pose. And slowly start to come on up. Releasing. And I'm going to find a roll with our blanket. And this is our final shape with our blanket that we're going to make. We're going to keep it like this for the rest of class. Bring it to your left side and then come on up to a kneeling position. Weight shifts to the right knee. Left leg goes forward and slowly start to come forward, hands to the floor. We're coming into a pigeon stretch. So that left leg is going to heel toe over to the right side of the mat. Bringing the shin parallel and reaching that right leg back. Now, if the left leg doesn't comfortably, if your hip doesn't rest to the earth comfortably, that's where the blanket comes in. And you just come and sit on it. Adjust so that your shin and ankle feel nice and open. Lift tall into your spine, into your heart. And then as you're ready, slowly fold forward, relaxing down, pigeon stretch. Slow and easy breathing. If you need to adjust, come up and then come back down. We're going to hold here for a few moments. Really take this opportunity to breathe deeply. Slow your exhales down to the count of 10. And as you count to 10, feel tension leave that left hip, the outer hip, and into all of those connections. Slowly start to walk yourself back in. Hands come under the shoulders. We're going to lift up and back either into downward dog or into tabletop position and stretch into that left hip. Move slowly, therapeutically. Forward fold pigeon is an intense one. So just re-find that space. Knees to the earth. Coming up, shift the weight to that left knee, right foot comes forward, shift forward, and fingertips to the earth, the right heel toes over, and come on down. Blanket can come under that hip if you'd like, stretch back through the left leg, palms to the earth, lift tall. And then as you're ready, exhale and breathe into that right hip. Adjust as you need to. The more you can slow your exhale down and really release, the more lasting benefit you will see from this position. Stay with it. Slowly start to come on up. Palms pressing under the shoulders and shifting either to tabletop or downward dog. Bring some space. And slowly come on down, and we're going to come down onto our backs. Bring your blanket with you. We're going to find a little rejuvenation into our spine here before Shavasana. So lying back onto your spine, back of the head presses in, and just move in a way that you really feel that whole spine making contact with the earth. And then we're going to use the thick roll of our blanket to help us open up some space in our spine in a few different positions. First position is going to be right at the sacrum, the SI joint, right in line, right above the tailbone. So you're bringing that blanket squarely under the hips. And then before we find our first stretch, just bring those legs in and then up and roll into the ankles. This should feel fairly effortless with the blanket helping you. Keep a soft bend in your knees. Just wiggle your toes, roll your ankles a few times. And take a few bicycles with the legs. And then soles of the feet to the earth. And then we're going to stretch straight out into this front of the body stretch. And this should feel comfortable. If this does not feel comfortable, just adjust the blanket underneath you or maybe softly bend into the knees. If it's okay, you're going to reach the arms up overhead. Then just breathe space into the belly and the front of the hips. Allow yourself to sink in here. Feel heaviness where the hips are meeting the blanket. Feel softness through your eyes. And relax tension through your jaw and your cheeks and your tongue. Arms come down to your sides, one knee at a time. Bend into the legs, soles of the feet to the earth. Our blanket is going to roll up about 2 to 3 inches. So press into your feet, lift those hips up, roll the blanket up so it's now in the small of your back, your lumbar spine, and you're going to roll the spine open. Now, this is where you're going to decide if this is intense enough of a stretch, this is where you'll stay. If it's okay, you're going to open up into bound angle pose and bring your arms out to your sides. Slow and easy breath, feeling this assistance of the blanket and melting in. If there's any intensity here that doesn't feel healing, you're going to just lift up and unroll the blanket a little bit. You're going to move around a little bit until you find that sweet spot. Yoga really helps us to take inventory and to learn what our body likes. Breathe space into your belly, into your hips. Knees start to press back together, soles of the feet to the earth. Press into the feet, lift up through the hips, and our blanket's going to slide up a few more inches now in line with the bottom of the ribs. And you're going to lay down again. Feeling that openness now in the front of the ribs into the diaphragm. And your choice here for legs, again, you can either keep them bent as they are, or you can bring them out into that bound angle pose. Just really visualizing that space that you're opening in the front of your vertebrae. People often lament how horrible their forward fold is, but almost always our backward fold is even more, our back bending capability is even worse than our forward folding. This really helps us to open our spine in that direction and find space through the discs. Notice if you're holding tension in your jaw or your hands or your hips. Let everything relax. Knees start to come back together. Slowly lift the hips up. And we're going to move the blanket away, but we're going to come into one more pose. Slowly come up into a seated position. Blanket will move, and we're going to lay back down now so that the blanket is under the shoulder blades. And then you're going to roll up and back, feeling that stretch. And again, if it's too intense, take some of the roll out of the blanket. Arms at your sides in that T shape or in gratitude arms. Just opening out through the heart space. Feet are pressing in or knees are opening out. And have this feeling that you're giving your weight to the blanket, that you're really using this assistance to hold this back bend, this heart opener. And slowly start to roll on up off the blanket. And then roll back down. You can move the blanket under your neck now as a pillow for Shavasana, or use it to cover up for warmth. Before we settle to Shavasana, hug your knees in and just roll around here. Laying on the ground with a blanket, it's fairly intense. It seems like it's easy, but you're opening up all kinds of space through the spine, through the front of the body. And unless you're very, very used to that, even these held stretches can be quite opening for the body. So find neutral and then start to stretch out. Blanket as your pillow or as your blanket. Legs softening, toes opening out, palms facing up. And slow and easy breath. Have a feeling that your exhales are sinking you into the earth. Give your weight away. Feel this relaxation, this almost collapsing feeling of the body. Just really giving your weight away, anchoring in. Following the breath in and out. Use the exhales to soften your jaw, your face, your throat. Relax through the right collarbone, the shoulder blade, the arm. Relax through the left collarbone, shoulder blade. and arm. Relax down through your spine. Feel the ribs soften, making more contact with the earth. Soften into your right hip, your glute, the thigh. Soften into the left glute, the hip, the thigh. Noticing a softening through your arms, through your legs. Allow a few moments of rest. Start to deepen your breath. Turn your head gently side to side. Start to move your arms and legs and bend the knees. And as you're ready, roll on up to a comfortable seated pose. Hands come to your heart in a gesture of gratitude. Just allow yourself to sit here for a moment, counting your blessings, counting the things in your life that make you smile, that help you to feel safe. And we'll end class tonight with the sound of 3 ohms. Singing nice and loud, raising vibrations as you inhale, or take a nice deep inhale. Oh. Oh. Thank you for taking the time to take care of yourselves today. Namaste. Thanks for rejuvenating with me today. We'll see you tomorrow.